From MTN News, this is Montana This Morning.
I'm Interstate in Bozeman. We're live as the Whole Foods gets ready to open up its doors to the public.
His little boys ask every day why their dad had to die.
The tragedy of running a red light coming up this morning. Bozeman family speaks out, hoping others will not suffer what they had to. Good morning, Southwest Montana, 6:30. Chet Lehman, Matt Elwell with you here. Later, Edgar Cedillo joining us from Montana's First Whole Foods. He's been live down there all morning long. We're anticipating the arrival later this morning of a bison cake. That's a rumor. We'll check in later on that. Meantime, if you don't have to go anywhere, well, in fact, if you have to go some places, you can't even get there.
Yeah, that's right. We have full road closure on I-90 that I'm going to talk about here in just a little bit between Livingston and Big Timber. Right. Temperatures are cold. We haven't gotten rid of the ice, and there's even some new fresh ice on some of those area roadways. Again, I-90 closed between Livingston and Big Timber, so eastbound, westbound. Not a good situation. That will be reassessed later this morning. Hopefully we can get that open and everybody stays safe. There's still a lot of ice out in several areas. In fact, winter weather advisory out for Park County, back into Sweetgrass, those areas, also in Butte. So slick conditions. Daytime highs expected to be near the 30-degree mark. That'll soften some of the ice that's on the area roadways. Hopefully we can get rid of a little of it. We'll talk more about that from the weather patio coming up in just a few minutes.
We're going to talk about it right now too as well, Matt. 631 road conditions severe across several parts of Montana yesterday, especially Interstate 90. Now this morning conditions are getting better in places, but they do remain poor elsewhere. We'll have more on that in a minute. Meantime, major pileup caused Interstate 90 west of Garrison for hours yesterday, leaving many travelers stranded. This is what it looked like near the Bearmouth exit around 4:30 yesterday afternoon. Traffic backed up, detoured for both east and westbound lanes. Montana Highway Patrol says 7 vehicles, including 2 commercial vehicles, crashed in a pileup. Troopers say a westbound semi traveling too fast for conditions hit a concrete barrier, then spun into oncoming lanes, hitting several other vehicles. 2 wreckers on the scene of another crash were also involved. 6 people taken to Missoula hospitals with serious injuries. Checking the webcam this morning, still long lines of traffic west of Garrison. Meantime, Montana Department of Transportation has closed Interstate 90 from Livingston to Big Timber. They did that yesterday afternoon due to severe driving conditions. The road remains closed this morning, but MDT and law enforcement personnel say they'll evaluate road and weather conditions this morning, determine when the highway will reopen to travel. According to Gallatin County Sheriff's Office, traffic being turned back at Livingston. That closure expected to continue until further notice. Once it reopens, remember, traffic will be moving very slowly, so make your travel plans today accordingly. 6:32 now. It's safe to say there are a lot of drivers in Montana running red lights, far more than are cited. Doing that can turn into a tragedy. We saw an incident like that in Bozeman just a few months ago. Our Diane Parker tells us some Montanans are pushing to try and stop others from experiencing that pain.
If you run a red light in Montana, you won't get a citation unless if an officer sees you. Now that's because red light traffic cameras have been outlawed statewide since 2009. But that camera conversation, it's being reignited following the death of a beloved Montana teacher.
His little boys ask every day why their dad had to die. And it's impossible for a parent and for a family member and for friends to explain to them why they don't have their dad anymore.
Kelly Fulton was many things to many people: a father, a husband, and a favorite math teacher at Bozeman High School.
He was just a really, really great person.
But the 40-year-old teacher is no longer with us. He was hit and killed while riding his bike to school, struck by a driver who ran a red light in October. It's a ride he usually made with his 2- and 5-year-old boys, pulling them in a bike trailer behind him. Luckily, his last trip was solo.
The night before he was hit, he had been baking banana muffins, one of their favorite things to make together, for the little boys to take into their preschool. That next morning, they decided that their mom, Elizabeth, would drive them into school so that they could take their muffins.
Muffins may have saved 2 lives this time, but the family hopes to save more by shedding light on state legislation that bans the use of red light cameras in Montana. Technology they believe would deter drivers from running red lights. The next step is political, overturning House Bill 531 or giving local control back to cities, something Billings-based group Strut, or Safer Through Responsible Use of Technology, is aiming for too, now reaching out to local lawmakers.
People are getting away with traffic violations, and that creates a climate and a mindset where, like, yeah, the heck with the laws, I don't need to pay attention to it.
The Montana League of Cities and Towns supports local control, issuing this statement, which reads in part, "We recognize that every Montana community is different with its own history, economy, and needs, so what may work for one community may not work for another."
It doesn't make sense. What works for Chester, Montana is not going to work for Billings.
Here in Billings, police issued 268 red light citations in 2022 and 169 warnings, and they say there's far more people breaking the red light law. But for now, it's wait and see on whether a lawmaker will sponsor a bill related to the issue. But Kelly Fulton's family is hopeful.
We miss him so much.
In Billings, Diane Parker, MTN News.
Now, Diane is following with the Concerned Citizens Group as it takes a deeper look at the technology versus privacy issues. That includes things like cameras designed to record license plate information as drivers illegally pass a parked school bus. We'll continue to follow that story here on Montana This Morning as well. Closer to home, West Yellowstone homicide case involving Patricia Batts, accused of being involved in the killing of her 12-year-old grandson, will be moving to state prosecution. Just last week, reported that the death penalty was off the table for Batts. On Monday, Gallatin County Commission approved the case to be moved to a sector of the Attorney General's office. The reason? Staffing at the county attorney's office.
We are at the county attorney's office severely understaffed right now. We have 5 open prosecution attorney positions. And so our capacity to take on a case like this and give it the detail that this case deserves is limited. And so this case will be heading over to the Prosecution Services Bureau with the AG's office.
Now, County Attorney Cromwell confirms that the sitting judge will still be Judge John Brown and that proceedings will still be happening here in Gallatin County. Other headlines: Northwestern Energy warning customers about scam texts and calls threatening immediate service disconnection. MTN's Ryan Berg spoke with Montana's Office of Consumer Protection about what you can do to protect yourself.
Some Northwestern Energy customers in Montana, Nevada, and South Dakota are receiving scam calls. These scammers are attempting to steal money from customers by threatening immediate service disconnection. Scammers are found in all forms of communication: calls, texts, emails, you name it. Recently, some Northwestern Energy customers have become targets. The scammers are demanding immediate payment from customers within the hour, saying if they don't receive it, their services will be cut off.
The trick to a scam is immediacy. You want to call somebody, you want to make it an immediate issue, something that's important to them, something that's going to get them to react before they can actually think through logically and realize that this might be a scam.
In a press release, Northwestern Energy states that Northwestern Energy never demands immediate payment or a specific payment type, such as prepaid card or at a kiosk machines that accept cash payments, such as Bitcoin ATMs. Northwestern Energy also does not use QR codes to request or process payments, and customers will receive multiple disconnection notices before their services are shut off. And customers are always offered several bill payment options, not just one.
If it's a company that is calling you, you always have the option of looking at like your bill statement and calling them back on their official telephone number, right? And working through the problem directly with one of their representatives, or Googling their web page and looking at your online billing or looking at your accounts, right? Just stop, take a breath, and think is the best thing that I can tell people to do.
Griffith states that if you suspect a call or a text to be a scam, let the Office of Consumer Protection know about it first.
You're going to be able to talk with one of our folks on staff. They're going to record the information you provide, so the type of scam, the details, maybe even the number that you're being called from is helpful information.
For more information on how to avoid being the victim of a scam or to report a scam, go to northwesternenergy.com/scam alert, or you can call 888-467-2669. In Helena, Ryan Berg, MTN News.
All right, thank you very much, Ryan. 6:39, festivities about to kick off at the Gallatin Valley Mall here in Bozeman. New Whole Foods is about to open its doors officially. MTN's Edgar Cedillo is there. Edgar, how are things going down there this morning?
Yeah, Chet, I will say there's a couple more people starting to pile up here in outside of the doors at Whole Foods. The line is starting to form. I'll have John Pan over there just to show you how many people. I would say last check there was about a dozen people. I think now there's closer to 2 dozen. Just people are starting to file in. One of the guys I did talk to say he got here at 4:45 bright and early, and he was able to get a nap in before he decided to get out of his car and step into line. So people are pretty excited about the store opening. They are, I think Whole Foods did say the first 250 people do get a gift card, so could range anywhere from $5 to $100. So people are in line for that for that gift card, and they do have pastries and snacks out here for them. I did hear that Treeline Coffee Roasters will also be out here bringing hot chocolate and warm coffee, so that'll keep people warm. And then the DJ should start kicking up around 7 a.m. So I did see them start getting ready not too long ago, but that music will start here at 7 when festivities will kick off. So pretty exciting times, I will say. It's pretty exciting to see just how many people are out here this bright and early for the Whole Foods, which is Montana's first Whole Foods that's opening here in Bozeman. Chet?
Edgar, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Go hang out. Enjoy the music when they kick off here at 7 o'clock. Again, Edgar Cedillo live this morning at Montana's first Whole Foods, opening its doors later this morning at the Gallatin Valley Mall. We're going to take a quick break here on Montana This Morning.